Hey everybody, so this is the concept video for making inferences from random samples. So let's go through each of these problems. I don't think I'm going to need the notepad too much on this one. I'm going to use a calculator that Khan provides. You guys can see the calculator right here. So I'm probably going to just use that for the most part, okay? So it says, Getaway Travel Agency surveyed a random sample of 45 of their clients about their vacation plans. Of the clients surveyed, okay, 21 expected that they would go on 3 vacations in the next year. There are 516 Gateway Travel Agency clients. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Gateway Travel Agency clients who expect to go on 3 vacations in the next year? So let me just kind of quickly give you a little heads up on how we're setting these problems up. And we'll do this on the first problem so you guys can see it. So basically, you've got this random sample, right? It says that they surveyed a random sample of 45 of their clients. So how many people were surveyed? 45. Okay? And it says that of the 45 clients that they surveyed, 21 expected that they would go on 3 vacations. So 21 out of the 45 expected to go on 3 vacations in the next year. But they're asking about the whole group of people that are part of the agency, all the clients. There are 516 total clients. So that means that the 45 people they surveyed in the random sample, that's representative of the whole, which is 516. Okay? So really, what we're talking about is proportion that we have to solve. We're saying 21 out of 45 is the same as what value out of 516? And so how are we going to solve that proportion? Right? And there's a couple ways to go about doing it, but I think the easiest way to do it when you're just using a calculator is to do it like this. You go, all right, I'm going to do 21 divided by 45, because that's going to give me a certain percentage of the random sample that wants to go on 3 vacations in the next year. So you can see that that's 0.4666, right? So it's 46.6 repeating percent, and that's what we have here, right? So this is really worth 0.46 repeating, right? And that's equal to x over 516. Well, how do you undo times divide by 516? You could multiply by 516 both sides. In other words, the x out of the 516 is going to be equivalent to 46%. So we're going to multiply both sides there by 516 to get the value that is 46% of 516. And when we multiply both sides by 516, you'll see that these cancel out over here, and we get x is equal to, right? So basically 46.6 repeating percent of the people surveyed would equate to how many of the 516 people that are clients. So you just take that and multiply it by the total number of clients, which is 516, and you're going to get the answer, which is, in this case, 240.8, right? Which is close to what? 241. And that's how you do it. Okay? So that's 241 approximately, right? So I'm just going to put this as approximately, and we'll do 241. Okay? And that's kind of how you set it up. Now, I'm not going to set up for every problem unless I need to, but I think we can pretty much just do it on the calculator now that you guys can see the process. All right, so let's do the next one. It says a group of randomly selected Apple Valley High School students were asked to pick their favorite gym class. The table below shows the results of the survey. There are 528 students in the Apple Valley High School. So this is the survey we got there. We're going to go in there. Let me kind of scroll down so I have a little more room to write because I think I might want to do a little addition here. And so for number 2, we've got this kind of results from the survey here. We had racket sports 1, team sports 9, track and field 17, and bowling 13. Okay. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of students at Apple Valley High whose favorite gym class is bowling? Okay. So 13 people said bowling. Right? Out of how many? How many people were surveyed? Right. So we have to add all this all together. So you have to first find out what's the total, right, that were surveyed. So we have 1 plus 9 plus 17 plus 13. If we add that together, we get 10 plus 10, which is 20. And then we've got 20 plus 20, which is going to be 40 here. So we end up with 40, right? This is going to be 30 plus 10, so it's going to be 40. So that means our total is going to be 40, right? So now what we're thinking about is there's 40 people surveyed, and out of those 40 people surveyed, 13 said they prefer bowling. So how many would that be out of the 528 people who attend this high school, right? So if this random sample is representative of the whole, then it should be a proportional relationship, right? 13 out of 40 should be equal to x out of 528. Well, all you got to do on a calculator to solve this is pretty simple. You grab the calculator, you go over to the calculator and you say, all right, I got this. 13 out of the 40 people said they like bowling. So 13 out of 40 is equal to what percentage? 32.5% or 0.325. Multiply that decimal by the total number of people at the high school to find out the number of students. Now, if that percentage was stayed true, that would like bowling in the whole high school. So that would be 32.5% of the high school. So multiply it by 528. And you're going to get the answer, 171.6. And so 171.6 is approximately 172. So you'd say about 172 people probably would pick bowling as their favorite gym elective. And that's how you do the problem. Okay, for the next one, it says, Emmanuel surveyed a random sample of 50 subscribers to Auto Wheel magazine about the number of cars that they own. One of the subscribers they surveyed, 15 own fewer than 2 vehicles. There are 340 subscribers to Auto Wheel magazine. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Auto Wheel magazine subscribers who own fewer than 2 vehicles? So once again, you get the calculator out. This one I'm just going to do on the screen. So they've sampled 50 people, right? Out of those 50, 15 own fewer than 2 vehicles. So it's 15 out of 50. Well, what's 15 divided by 50? That's just going to be 0.3 or 30%. 30% of the people surveyed, okay, only owned 2 or fewer vehicles, or owned fewer than 2 vehicles, I should say. There were 340 people subscribing to this magazine, so you then would multiply by the total for the magazine, 340, because if that percentage stayed true, right, based on the random sample, 30% of the entire subscription base of the magazine would own fewer than 2 vehicles. So what's the number of people who own fewer than 2 vehicles? 102. So the correct answer is 102. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. A group of randomly selected Clyde marketing employees were asked what their most common form of transportation is. The bar graph below shows the results of the survey. There are 275 employees at Clyde Marketing, so that's the total number of employees. Not the ones that were surveyed, but the total number of employees. It says, based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Clyde Marketing employees whose most common form of transportation is riding a bus? Well, the first thing you got to figure out is what is the total amount of people surveyed, right? Because we have to understand the relationships involved here, the percentage of people who ride the bus out of the people surveyed randomly. So let's figure out what that would be. So let's go over here to our little notepad for number 4, and I'm going to just go, all right, let's add up the drive. So people who drive, that's going to be 19, halfway between 18 and 20. So that's 19. People who go on the bus, that's 16. Okay. And then people who walk, that's going to be halfway between 10 and 12, that's 11. And then people who do other, that's 4. Okay? So we're going to take all that, we're going to add it together. You got 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 5 more is 20. Then you've got 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's 5. Okay? So we're looking at 50 people surveyed. So there were 50 people surveyed, right? So that's your number of people surveyed. How many of them were looking for riding a bus? How many of them were riding a bus? 16. So 16 out of 50 were riding a bus. We know there are 275 employees total. So how many would that be out of 275? This is a proportion. So mathematically, all you got to do is you go grab the calculator. You go 16 divided by 50. Get the decimal or percent, right, which is 0.32, 32% of the people surveyed ride the bus. So then what is 32% of the total 275? So you just multiply that by 275. And you're going to get your answer, which is 88. So the correct answer here would be 88. And that's it. It's that simple. For number 5, Fremont Run Club surveyed a random sample of 30 of their members about their running habits. Of the members surveyed, 9 said that they run more than 5 days a week. There are 84 Fremont Run Club members total. So what does that tell us? So you guys were setting up the relationships here. you would see that there were 30 people who were surveyed. Out of those 30 people that were surveyed, it says 9 responded that they run more than 5 days a week. There are 84 total members of this club. How many would that be out of the 84? So based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Fremont Run Club members who run more than 5 days a week? Same thing, more than 5 days a week, we're good to go. So just solve that proportion. So you're just going to go 9 out of 30, 9 divided by 30. That means that of the people surveyed, 30% say that they would run more than 5 days a week. So what is 30% of the 84? So you're going to multiply that by 84, and then you get your answer. That's 25.2. So the closest answer would be 25. And that's it. And that's about 25. So I go over here and say x is approximately 25. All right, and let's go to the next question. It says Jordan Michael runs a basketball camp. A group of randomly selected camp participants were asked to give their shirt size. The table below shows the results of the survey. There are 308 camp participants this year. Okay, great. So let's go in and investigate this. We're going to have to find the total, so we're going to add a little bit. So let's kind of go through and do number 6. So small, medium, large, extra large, and double extra large. Okay, let's just add all these up. So we got small, we got medium, we got large, we got extra large being 12, we got the 4 for the double extra large. Okay, fine. So what do we get here? Okay, we get 6 plus 5, which is 11, plus 3, which is 14, plus 2, which is 16, plus 4, which is 20. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we're looking at 60. So there were 60 people who were randomly surveyed. So that means that's our denominator for our random sample. And out of that, we know that we're looking for a particular value here. So it says, based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of this year's camp participants who will need a medium shirt? Well, medium is 15. So it's going to be 15 out of the 60, which we all know is 1 out of 4, right? And so basically 1/4 of the group, and the group is what, 308 campers, okay, are going to wear a medium shirt most likely. So that's going to be something where you just multiply by 0.25, right? So the answer here would just be 1 divided by 4, right, which is 0.25. And then you're going to multiply that by the number of campers, which is 308, or 1/4 of 308, which is 77. So that's how many people probably need a medium shirt. Okay, the next one that we're doing says Bounce Club. Let's see, Bounce Club. Bounce Club surveyed a random sample of 55 of their members about their favorite type of music. Of the members surveyed, 22 said that jazz is their favorite type of music. There are 422 members of Bounce Club. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Bounce Club members whose favorite type of music is jazz? Okay, so out of the 55 members surveyed, 22 said jazz is their favorite. So that means that 22 out of 55, or 22 divided by 55, that's 40% of the people said that jazz is their favorite type of music. So now you're just going to multiply that by 422 people, the total numbers of Bounce Club, and you're going to get the number of people at Bounce Club that most likely think jazz is their favorite music if the sample represents the whole. Right? And that'll be 168.8, which is 169. And that's how you do it, and hopefully that was helpful to you guys.